Early in September of 2017, the Cambrian headed out of Parry Sound on yet another mission for the Canadian Coast Guard Auxiliary. The Cambrian has been around in various forms since 1943. This time, she was taking part in a practice rescue exercise involving the Royal Canadian Air Force, working as part of the Search and Rescue Division. At the helm today is Coxswain Gary Berriger. He started with the Auxiliary in 2001 after retiring from forestry in Ontario Hydro. Much of that experience came among the islands in Georgian Bay. In addition, he has operated a pleasure boat on the bay for most of his life. While heading for the rendezvous point, the crew for the day took time to brush up on navigation. Duff Dwyer is a retired Air Canada pilot. He has flown everything from DC-3s to 747s. He is a CCGA training officer and is particularly proficient in navigation training. It is not unusual to find Duff on a long-distance run in his pleasure boat. On board is the captain of the Cambrian, Bob Corrigan, involved in the local unit for years, and the local Parry Sound Auxiliary leader. Since 2016, he has also taken on the responsibility of district director, which includes 9 units. Bob spent his career working as a tooling engineer for Chrysler Canada. He outlines the exercise. Coincidentally, we spot the Ontario Provincial Police out on patrol. We wonder if they may be involved in the same activity we are going to be part of. Apparently not, as we don't see them again during the day. Tim Gapp got involved with the Auxiliary in 2014. Before that, he had been in the Canadian Army for 25 years. He knows tanks, guns, small engine repair, and truck transport. He specializes in first aid and triage. Today we are to be a vessel in distress. The boat is taking on water with the risk of sinking. A distress call will be issued, after which a search and rescue aircraft is to be scrambled. The crew on board the aircraft must locate our boat using triangulation of our radio signal. Once found, they will then make a judgment as to what action to take. The Cambrian was built in Port Dover in 1943 and named the Ronald L. She started out as a fish tug in Lake Superior near Thunder Bay. Over the years, the boat had home ports in Sault Ste. Marie, Blind River, Depot Harbor, and Parry Sound. Jack Kennedy, at the time the commander of the Canadian Coast Guard unit in Parry Sound, bought the boat, had it rebuilt, and renamed it the Cambrian. Eventually, Bob Corrigan bought the boat. It has been part of the Search and Rescue Division of the Canadian Coast Guard Auxiliary for 30 years.
We have lost the propeller. We've been drifting all night, taking on water, and our auxiliary pump volume. We need assistance with a pump if possible.
Cuban, this is Tiger 326, we have a pump failure to the drive to. We're just setting up for our first job now.
Roger that.
And Cambrian Tiger 336, what are the conditions of the souls on board?
Souls on board.
83.
Everybody's fine. Life jacket is on.
Confirm, you said no injuries, 8 souls on board.
8 souls on board, no injuries.
Alright, so 296 copies, we're just lining up now to where I gotta pump down to you guys.
Captain Corrigan, in communication with the crew of the aircraft, goes into detail of our supposed situation, loss of power, and taking on water. The decision is made by the aircraft crew to drop a pump to see if we can come to terms with the water problem.
There it is.
But to do that, first a smoke flare has to be dropped to test the wind direction. Having assessed the wind, the pump is dropped and brought aboard. No simple task, what with the retrieval of the rope, the parachute, and the device in a waterproof barrel.
Yeah, I see the rope.
Andy DeVos has been active with the Auxiliary since 2011. Born in Canada, He went to Holland for 20 years, then came back. He still has some of the accent. Andy continues his trade in carpentry as a cabinet maker. He too is an avid bay boater and lives aboard his boat every summer. The aircraft stays in the vicinity while the pump idea is tested. The exercise calls for the pump to be too little, too late. This information is passed on to the aircraft crew to reassess. Andy Rhodes, he's the one with the Greek sailor hat. He got involved with the auxiliary in 2015. Experience? He has lots of that. 20 years in the Arctic as a researcher, investigating the lifestyles of natives of the North. With this kind of background, Andy has passed on his experience in the form of training to many others. The decision is made to abandon ship. The search and rescue crew decides to drop dinghies. They want to be fairly close to the boat, so they drop a series of smoke signals, then 2 dinghies roped together. Normally, they would have inflated when they hit the water, but for the convenience of the exercise and the simplification of returning them to search and rescue, they stay packed. The assumption is made that all on board are rescued successfully. Once the exercise is complete, Captain Corrigan makes arrangements with the search and rescue leader to return the dropped equipment. The Cambrian and her crew return to the main town dock in Parry Sound.
I'll text you the number while we're doing a absurd. If you just give him a note when you're on your way and then expect someone to arrive. And then if he can't actually be there to meet you, he'll tell you where to put it on the airport.
All right, I will do that. If he can't make it, we can take it down next night. That's better.
Actually, he said he could be at the airport until about 5:30, so if we can get there by then, great. If not, he'll be gone. You'll have to actually leave it somewhere on the airfield, which he'll tell you. Or you can take it up tomorrow, whatever works for you.
Right, we'll try and get it there tonight, if not early tomorrow morning.
Okay, great, thanks. I'll text him. I'll text you his number.
Thank you for that. Thank you for today.
Okay, thank you for coming in for your evidence, and then we'll give you the signal to follow this.
What started out as a gloomy day with a possible tragic situation played out turns out to be a successful exercise in glorious sunshine for the Parry Sound unit of the Canadian Coast Guard Auxiliary and the Royal Canadian Air Force Search and Rescue Unit. Peter Farquharson currently keeps a former Department of Transport vessel, the Stillwatch, in operational condition. The 135-foot ship is now used as a pleasure craft moored in Penetanguishene. Peter is a great all-round auxiliary crew member and is a MacGyver when it comes to making things work. Larry Woolner was not along for the exercise, but has been involved with the auxiliary since 2012. He has worked at Shaw Almex and Stanley Steel as an engineer. A very useful member with a knack for navigation and instruction.